Hi guys, this is your instructor checking in for week 4. I wanted to give you some reminders about what we're doing this week, what I'm expecting for your papers, and some feedback that I noticed or that I wanted to give you on your outlines and your rhetorical reflections, because I just graded all of those. I gave feedback, and so I want you guys to keep some things in mind as you're working on your final drafts. So, and that leads into what we're doing this week. So, as you probably noticed, this week we were learning a little bit about MLA citations, and you had a quiz that was due this evening. And then for the rest of the week, you're just looking at student sample papers, you are finishing up your drafts, and you're watching this video, hopefully. So make sure that you're working on your paper. It's due next Sunday, June 12th by 10 p.m., so that's a week from this Sunday. So you've got plenty of time to work on your drafts. If you have any questions about any of my feedback, or if you would like me to look at small parts of your paper, that's great. If you would like to meet with me, via Skype or talk to me on the phone or something like that, I would be happy to do that. I will not look at entire whole drafts because that would take a really long time, and I can't look at everybody's paper before they turn it in, but I can look at particulars. So if you're having a problem with maybe a particular concept, or you want me to look at a paragraph or something like that, I'd be happy to do that via email. Something that I've noticed has been happening in the last couple weeks is that people have been missing deadlines kind of frequently. Deadlines are established on the schedule. They've been established mostly since the beginning of the semester, but I will change them if we need to accommodate for something. So for instance, I did not have the right due dates in the Blackboard site, so I bumped back a due date. I generally won't bring up a due date, bring it closer, unless I give you guys plenty of time to understand that. So I think the quiz was originally due this Sunday, but I moved it up to Thursday, and I told you guys that a week ago. So you should basically make sure that you're checking the Blackboard site really frequently for deadlines, because according to my syllabus and in practice, I don't accept late work on short assignments. So if you don't turn in a quiz, or if you don't turn in a short assignment, you will just get a 0 for that if you turn it in late. So make sure that you are being really aware of the deadlines for the course, and you're kind of keeping on top of everything. I know it can be difficult. It's the summer. You might be taking other classes. You might be out of the country. There are a lot of different elements that go into completing an online course, but I think it's almost easier to forget deadlines or to miss deadlines when you're taking an online course. It can be kind of out of sight, out of mind. Maybe you log in a couple times a week and you think, uh-oh, I didn't do this assignment. But it's really important to get the things done when you need to, because it helps me get feedback to you earlier, and it helps you keep on track as far as completing the major projects. I noticed something in the rhetorical reflections. I asked what learning outcomes were being addressed by the assignment, and I don't think that anyone actually knows what the learning outcomes are for the course. Learning outcomes can be found in the syllabus, and these will be important throughout the semester, and especially important in your final project. So you're going to need to know what those learning outcomes are, and again, you can find those on the syllabus. So just be aware that those are something that you're going to need to know. And then I wanted to let you know that I will be making comments on your papers, on your rubrics. So you should be able to see the rubric, and you should be able to see my comments on the rubric. That's where you'll find the feedback that I'm giving you on your assignments. And then remember, you're working on those this week. My feedback on your outlines and even in your rhetorical reflections will help you with your final paper. So make sure that you're reading that feedback and you're really understanding what I'm saying. Make sure that if I told you to contact me specifically, that you do that, so that we can get things, working in a timely manner. And then, as always, please email me with any questions or concerns. A lot of you have been really great about communicating with me if you have a problem, and that's really great. I try to get back to you as soon as possible, and then other times, not so much. So make sure that you are in contact with me if you're having any problems with the course. And then I wanted to clarify something that I saw in a lot of outlines and rhetorical reflections, and I want to just make sure we're on the same page. For this paper, you will not be making an argument per se about the topic. So the purpose of the rhetorical analysis essay, and this can be found in several areas. You can look in the chapter in the Wayne Writer about analysis. You can look at the Project 1 assignment description, which is the Project 1 overview. You can look at my lecture on rhetorical analysis from, I think, a week ago, but it might have been 2 weeks ago. There are a couple of different places where you're going to learn about what rhetorical analysis is and the purpose of rhetorical analysis, but I'll kind of go over it really quickly again. The purpose of rhetorical analysis is to read a text and identify and explain the rhetorical strategies and the rhetorical situation. So your paper isn't necessarily, say, your paper is about plagiarism. Let's just say that. I don't know if any of the articles are, I don't think they are, but say that it is. Your argument isn't going to be plagiarism should be dealt with this way. That's not the purpose of rhetorical analysis. You're not participating in the argument per se. You're identifying their arguments, you're identifying their support, and the different rhetorical strategies that they're using. So the claim that you'll be making in your rhetorical analysis essay is an evaluation claim, and that is in the Wayne Writer as well. But an evaluation claim is deciding whether something succeeded or did not succeed in what it was trying to do. So your argument will be more along the lines of, this author successfully argued this argument using these specific rhetorical strategies. So make sure that you're really clear about what the purpose of the rhetorical analysis is. A lot of people in their outlines had arguments that had to do with the topic, which would make sense in an argument paper. But this isn't an argument paper. This is a rhetorical analysis paper. So instead of making an argument about the topic, you're making an argument about the article. So it's just about the article. You don't need to do any outside research for the rhetorical analysis. All you need to use is specific quotations from the article that you read. So be really aware of what the purpose of the rhetorical analysis is. It might be helpful to review the the materials that I've posted so far, but to just get a good sense of what I'm expecting, so that when you turn in your paper, you have kind of fully understood what the assignment's about and what you're supposed to be accomplishing in your draft. And then a lot of people said that they were going to be using pathos, ethos, and logos in their essay, and this is a similar kind of caveat. You won't actually be using pathos, ethos, and logos. Not yet. We will be doing argument papers, and in those argument papers, you might engage with pathos, ethos, and or logos to make your argument. In the rhetorical analysis, you are identifying moments in which the author is using pathos, ethos, or logos, or appealing to pathos, ethos, and logos. So again, pathos is an appeal to emotion, ethos is an appeal to their own authority as whatever, a professor or some sort of professional on the topic, some sort of authority on the topic. And then logos is an appeal to logic. So a lot of times, like a logical appeal, for instance, will come in the form of a statistic or some sort of, maybe empirical study or something like that. Whereas pathos might use some emotionally charged language to get something across. So basically, you don't need to be concerned necessarily with using pathos, ethos, and logos. Those aren't something that you'll be really engaging with. It's identifying those moments. So I think an easy or easier way to do this is when you're reading your article, identify the argument, and usually that'll be a sentence that will be the argument, and from there you can identify the type of argument because you know what the argument is. But then you're going to want to consider what is evidence? What does the author use as evidence to back up their claim? Are they using another article? Are they using a study? Are they using maybe an anecdote about a person that might appeal more to pathos? Are they using their own authority in the matter? That would be ethos. So you're going to want to look at the supporting evidence that the author uses and then kind of consider what category of rhetorical appeal that is. So if you do that, if you go back to, I think a few people are struggling with the paper, if you go back to your article and make some annotations, maybe underline all of the areas that are used as support, and then kind of consider the ways that those are appealing to specific different types of, I guess, emotions or logic or something like that, different types of attitudes, I think that you will have an easier time understanding what you're supposed to be accomplishing in your paper. I think that overall, though, I was pretty pleasantly surprised by the outlines. I think that you guys are really kind of delving into rhetorical situation and rhetorical analysis and stuff like that. I think that you guys are doing well. If you are not, if you feel like you're struggling, please contact me. I'm here for you to talk to. We can set up a meeting, or we can talk via email. So again, this week is mostly dedicated, the rest of the week is dedicated to finishing your drafts. Your drafts are due a week from Sunday, and then next week we start on the iSearch paper. So we're shifting gears, and we'll be doing other stuff next week, but we will also be finishing our rhetorical analysis papers. So thanks for listening, good luck, and let me know if you need me.